So, so with character being such a high emphasis, right?
Mhm.
I'm just gonna take you to a Shador Sanders debacle, if you will,
Right.
and you obviously being in the space of NFL draft prep, NFL talking to NFL execs, you're in that space. For a kid who comes across to us who are not in that space, who has the competitive drive that you want, has not been in trouble, seems like a high character kid. How, why were all these kind of little dribblings coming out about character maybe being a flaw for his? Maybe he was an entitled kid. Maybe he was too cocky. What was coming out? Why did it seem like his character was now a detriment to him?
So I don't want to talk about Sugar because he's not my client, but I will give you, let's say, example A, okay? Because
Yep. Let's do that.
great kid,
Yep.
a football player, and I obviously wish the best for him. If he got dealt a bad hand of business, it's just how the business goes, right? And
Yeah.
need a lesson for it, right? And I wish the
Okay.
best for the kid, I really do. Let's say example A, right? The truth of the matter is the 32 teams are like this, you know. That's not on Twitter. That's not on ESPN. That's not on, like, I know things. I mean, I'll be honest. I know things about some people's favorite players today that they will never know. Why?
Yeah.
Because I hear it from the inside.
Right.
And the inside doesn't get out, because let's be honest, right? Not going to say his name. If player A goes in the second round,
Yeah.
no one knows he has character issues, but maybe he still has the character issues, right?
Right.
If he goes in the second, third round, no one knows because no one talks about it.
Right.
They see this projected player A, who's supposed to be a first round, top 100 pick, let's call it, right? Sliding down the board. So now everyone's throwing darts and saying, well, something's got to happen. Oh my God, it must be his character. It must be, he doesn't tie his left shoe. It must be his pinky toe hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
there's a lot of things, and that's the thing on the agent side is the only person that would know would be player A's agent and team and the player and probably other teams because
Okay.
that the word spreads quick, and the combine is big.
Yeah.
I tell players, I'm like, you guys think you're here to run and jump and skip. Fellas, you're not here. I mean, you're here for that because that makes the NFL Network money. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You guys all have pro days, and the scouts are still going to come to your pro day.
Right.
So the fact that you're at the combine, don't get me wrong, if you're going to perform at a high level. Don't piss down your leg. But at the same time, the real reason you're there is number one because the medicals. That's why a lot of kids, they leave out of Indy a first-round pick, and then they go in the fifth because there's something that came up, right? People don't even understand. Why is the combine in Indy? Indy has 6 hospitals. That's why it's in Indy. It's not because Lucas Oil Stadium's indoors. I hate to tell you, because the hospitals. Okay, because it's really a medical evaluation is the combine, right?
Okay.
Players don't even know that, right?
Right.
So, my thing is when they get into these interviews are money, man. Like I'll be honest, there was probably 5 kids that just didn't work out for us in the draft this year, right? We just either way they chose a different route, or maybe we were just like, you know what, we're good on this one, right? High character kids, really high character kids, and they all got drafted like high, like 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
Okay.
You look back and you're like, these are the same guys that I got undrafted grades on.
All right.
I'm a little confused, right? So it goes both ways is what I'm trying to say,
I hear you.
Those interviews are important because if you can get a team to walk out of there and be like, hey man, I let that Preston Jackson guy date my daughter. Like that kid's awesome. You're making money, dude. But if you walk out of there where they're like, yeah, he flunked that one. Guess what? That gets him around to 31 other teams. And guess what? When you go to your next interview, they're going to expose you again and again and again and again. And it's just a snowball effect. So, as crazy as it sounds, there's been damage control in Indy where it's like, boss man, you got interviews tomorrow. Cut that.
Right.
Stop doing that, right? If you're doing this, don't do it anymore. You need to,
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, most of these guys, I'll say on our end, we don't have many guys that are never prepared. Like we prepare our guys really well, but you hear some horror stories, man. Like I've heard a story.
Okay.
Team told me, "Hey, I'm not gonna obviously, of course, I'm not gonna say player, but
Yeah.
hey, we interviewed player X and we asked him who's the hardest. Player X plays defensive tackle. Okay.
Okay.
We interviewed player X and we asked him who's the best player he's played against or the hardest player he's played against. And player X answered another defensive lineman.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Not a guard, not a center,
Right.
not a tackle if you're playing 5 tech.
Right.
Another
Nope.
defensive tackle. Hey, that was the hardest guy I played against. You never played against. I mean, you played against him on the other side, but you never physically. You know what I'm saying? Like Preston, that's not a hard question, big dog. 2 + 2 = 4, bro. Like,
right. Come on, man.
I mean, so a lot of this stuff is to trick these guys, and the more prepared they are, the better. And the truth of the matter is, unfortunately, everyone's so excited to go in the draft, and man, this is gonna be the best thing ever. The process is meant for you to fail.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna be honest; it's set up that way. So as many roadblocks as you can hurdle, instead of getting ran over by, the better, right? First round picks are probably, I don't want to say on cruise control because they're never on cruise control, but look, the evaluation's there. Stay healthy, do what you got to do. I mean, you got guys that go in the first round that don't do a damn thing in the process. I don't even know what they're training. They don't even do anything at pro day besides catch footballs.
Right.
Well, what are you going to training for? You go to catch footballs and sit on your couch after 3 months. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So, but the real work is the late round guys that can rise, and the second, third round, top 100 guys that you need to cement, and not just cement, but rise. I tell guys all the time, look, if a team tells me you're third round grade, you can look at me crazy, but it sounds like we have 90 picks to go. We got to work. Like, I'm not happy with that. So,